I watched tons of TV shows in quarantine, but I felt like I need to talk about this one specifically.
Before we begin, I want to make something clear. A kid your age charged with first-degree murder is tried as an adult.
So this miniseries, and you can watch it in one day like I did, it is called Defending Jacob, and it's about, well, defending Jacob. So there is a family of Chris Evans and Michelle Dockery, and their 14-year-old son might be a murderer. At least he is accused of murdering his classmate, and so it's a story of how family deals with it. And as you can see, all the actors are super great. They are all really good at what they're doing, and I love Jaden Martell since forever, since he first appeared on screen, and comparing to other actors, he doesn't have that much screen time and that much experience, but still he isn't like somewhere on the sidelines, and he doesn't get lost among all these people. And the cast consists of some really well-known names. And before getting to the differences between the book and the TV show, which one is better, what you should watch or read, let me get into more details on this show. If you haven't watched it, I will try to avoid spoilers, and I will just quickly point out who the show is for, if you're going to watch it, why you should watch it, and if you don't like some specific features, why you shouldn't watch it then. It can either be an advantage or a disadvantage for different people, because the show is very ambiguous and it never gives you a detailed answer, a straight up answer, who did what, who killed who. And for me personally, it was super great. I really like this ambiguity, and I don't like when someone leaves me hanging, but still, when it comes to TV shows or movies, I really like to have time to think for myself, and we had a lot of discussions with my friends, and we all have different opinions, which is super great. I really recommend this show to you if you like these actors, also if you like this moody looks, and the colors in the show are super amazing.
Chris brings both a strength and a vulnerability to the character, which is really hard.
I knew my son.
That's it? That's your justification?
I was being a father. And Michelle is just so open and very honest. And between Jade and the other actors, everyone, they're so fantastic.
Also, they use a lot of terminology, and the ADA protocol is pretty accurate. So although it is not a detective story, it still has the atmosphere of one. And so if you want to learn more about the justice system, or you're just into that stuff, this might be the show for you. It may sadly not be the right one for you if you're anticipating a full-on detective story, because it's not that. It's mostly a drama, and it's mostly revolving around the feelings, what parents feel when their child is accused of something so terrible, and how they cope with also not knowing if he really did it, or it is just a group of accidents which he was a part of. So it's mostly about emotions and feelings. If you're like that, definitely watch it, it's a great one. And most importantly, if you like getting answers, and if you like when the show is ending and you are 100% sure what happened, this may not be for you, because it was not the case with this show. The directors and the writers, they wanted to make it as ambiguous as they could. And as I've said, this show is based on a book, and the book is also pretty interesting. I've read it a long time ago, but still I think it was really great as I remember it. Anyway, the following part will contain spoilers, so if you haven't watched the show, please don't listen to spoilers, because you will be just disappointed. So first of all, I think the novel gives us a more definitive answer on whether he did it or didn't do it, because in the novel, the girl, as you remember, the girl from the vacation, she dies, and so it kind of confirms the suspicion going on, and second time is a charm. And so it makes it more believable that Jacob really did kill this boy, because there can't be two accidents. If people are dying around one specific person, that's just not right. Also, Jacob dies in a crash, and I think what they did in the show is more interesting. I don't know, maybe think differently, because I think when And if Jacob dies, we don't have more questions coming up, we just like bury everything with him. And here we still have a lot to think about Lori and how they will continue to live as a family, because she practically like tried to kill her child, and we're not sure if she did it on purpose. And so in the end we have even more questions, how like Jacob is gonna live with it, that his mother tried, obviously like for him it looked that way, that she tried to kill him, and also how like Lori is gonna live with it, because I think she kind of agrees that that was an accident, but I don't think that deep down she believes it. That's just what her husband says to her.
It was an accident. That's all it was. It's just an accident.
So I think that this ambiguity makes it a greater ending in terms of storytelling, and it provokes more questions. And also one more minor detail, so in the show we have Andy telling Lori about his father's involvement, and that actually what like gives her a little push to start like spiraling and thinking too much. And in the book he doesn't do it, so Lori kind of goes off the rails without knowing this much. She's just thinking that he could have killed all these people, and I think that in the show Andy telling Lori about that gives her actions more justification. And it also shows how different people have different coping mechanisms, because like Andy, he still kind of believes his child, he's not completely sure, but he doesn't do anything, he doesn't act on those suspicions. And Lori, she does that, she just goes completely nuts. So if you liked the show and you were invested in the story, you should, I think, definitely read the book, because it gives you a new perspective on things. It's a little bit different and you may not like it, or you may like it even more than the show. For me it was the opposite. Anyway, they're completely different, they use completely different storytelling techniques, so it's kind of interesting to see how this story can play out in like different ways. I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, I'm a really big TV show and movie geek, so subscribe to my channel and you will see every week new videos about new great TV shows, and maybe like some spoilers, maybe some insider information that I will try to dig. Anyway, have a nice day and never stop watching great movies and TV shows.